Welcome back, everyone. A bit of a different style intro this afternoon, but it's done well because we've got quite a big audience already built up. So thank you so much for joining us today. We are going to be inviting people onto the show once again after Ireland is left reeling. After that alleged and very serious assault of a 10-year-old child by an African asylum seeker in his 20s. A man who we now learn should have been deported some time ago. And that revelation has sparked outrage and unrest overnight in the fair city of Dublin. Close at home in the UK, anger is building too. In Southampton, locals say they have simply had enough of the ongoing problems linked to hotels packed with asylum seekers. Communities say they are being pushed to breaking point, whilst trust in the system is absolutely disintegrated. People are asking, how did we get here? Who's accountable? And how much more can these communities take? Today, I want to hear from you, particularly if you're living in a community affected by these issues. Call in, have your say, because these are questions that the country and our politicians cannot ignore any longer. And while labelling ordinary concerned parents and grandparents as far right just isn't washing anymore. There's a link to the show in the video description below. I'll also pop it into the chat during the show. And today I'm accepting video and audio calls through that link only. I will be getting a new British phone number so that you can phone in directly very shortly. The problem that I've got to resolve is that on WhatsApp, you cannot turn off call waiting. And that is a real problem, as you will have seen from previous shows. So hop on. You don't have to agree with me. In fact, I welcome opposing views once you're in the green room. If you just wait there, I will let you in when it's your turn. First up today is Bess. Good evening, good afternoon, Bess. Can you hear me?
Hello, Paul. Can you hear me?
I can hear you very well, thank you. How are you today?
I am pretty well, thanks.
You in Northern Ireland?
I am indeed, yes, just outside Belfast.
What's going on over there at the moment, Bess?
Well, it's the same as everywhere else at the minute. But I was watching live last night what was going on down in Dublin. And I got very distressed about it. I
mean, Bess, a 10-year-old girl, I mean, what sort of monster even looks, even a passing glimpse, a 10-year-old child, who does that?
Well, to be honest, it's part of their culture, but I'm sure they can be taught to be different. When they were brought into the island by these elite lefties, and what upset me most of all is this girl was in care.
Yeah.
And she was taken out by her so-called carers and then was supposedly have ran away. Now, how would you run away to a hotel?
It's just unbelievable. I mean, to think that a child of 10 is already in a care, in a care home. I mean, it's so frightening and so sad. A 10-year-old child, bless her little heart, is already in care. And then she's let down even further. I mean, God forbid, that child needs taking and showing some bloody love. I mean, it's just beyond me. It breaks my heart.
I just don't know what else can we do other than, my only idea is that a good group of people need to really be outside every politician's, not necessarily their home, although I don't think they deserve a private life when they don't give us one. Yeah. But I think we should be bombarding them and shaming the police for hitting on us when we only want to protect children.
Yeah, that's all we want to do. We just want to protect the babies. I mean, at the end of the day, it's getting to the point where, we have been telling everyone now for months and months and months, just remain calm, let the police deal with it, let the authorities deal with it, but they're not goddamn dealing with it. The people won't listen to us much longer. And you see evidence of that last night in Dublin. How many community leaders today and the police will be saying, calm down, do this, do that, do it. But still nobody's listening. The people are now starting to feel they can't comply their way out of this shit.
I know. Well, I'll not go on. I'm sure there's plenty could say smarter things than myself. But I really do think people need to get together and embarrass the police and embarrass those that stand in Parliament and stand in Stormont and go, oh, yous are all wrong.
Well said, Bess. Well said. Well said, Bess. Thank you for joining me. Have a lovely day out there in all on, and God bless you, Bess. Linford, he's back. Linford, how you doing, mate? Can you hear me? I can't hear you, Linford. Your sound's not on. Linford, I'll move on and I'll bring you back when your sound's on, brother. Leanne is next. Hi, Leanne. How you doing?
Hi, Paul.
I can hear you.
Oh, I've been on Governor's channel before, so this is only like the second time that I've appeared. To talk about my experience of being in care. I am 44. I was in the care order from the age of 4 to the age of 18. I didn't have any issues with extreme gangs, but social services and police.
Leanne, your audio is breaking up badly. Have you got a decent Wi-Fi reception there, or are you on mobile?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm going to put you out, try and get a better reception or sort your audio out. Maybe just have a look at that and I'll bring you back on, darling. But at the moment, we can just about hear you. All right, thank you. Let's try Linford again. Linford, are you back?
Hello, mate.
Hear me, mate?
Hello, Paul.
That's better. I can hear you now, brother.
Mate.
How you doing? I can hear you very well. Thank you. How you doing?
I'm really tired. You know, I didn't sleep well last night, and to be honest, mate, it's over what's happened in Dublin. You know, this young 10-year-old girl that's in care because she's got behavioural problems, because the reality and truth is she's probably not been shown any love or anything, Paul.
Yeah.
You know, and it's sad, mate, you know, because all she needs is that love. You know what? And even the mainstream media, Paul, was saying, oh, because she's got behavioural problems and all that, you know, and she ran away, that it's her fault that what happened. You know, the reality and the truth is, you know, and what it brought up in me, Paul, is that what happened to me started at that age, and I know the impact it's had on me.
I'll tell you what, mate, he's disappeared. We're having one or two connection problems with the viewers today. Let's bring in Kevin. Kevin, good afternoon, mate. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Good afternoon, Paul.
Yeah, good. You got some clothes on today, Kev.
Yeah. I was just going to say, it seems to me that as we're getting more successful in everything we're doing, they're going to be pushing back harder and harder against us.
Yeah.
And we've got to be really careful about that point where we get to, where all of a sudden it just explodes, it kicks off. And I don't think many people are really ready for that, how close that point can be.
It's a frightening prospect, but I think you're right.
When you start looking at a lot of the protests and everything, the opposition is getting more and more aggressive. Everyone's pushing for conflict.
Yeah.
They're that close where you can see I watch a hell of a lot of stuff on YouTube of obviously the community investigators and everything, and they're picking up stuff now that in the most obscure places there's conflict. You know, for the slightest little thing that's happening, it's like they're on there. They're so far embedded into our communities. I don't think people realise how widespread this all is. And as you say, the numbers that are here, we've got to really careful, because the more, I mean, it's brilliant that we're getting all this success, we're getting the coverage and everything like that, but people are we're doing a lot of talking with no action. You know, and like there's been a few people saying go down to South, like Tom was saying, go down and show your support in Southampton and everything. We must get the numbers out there. The only thing that's going to protect people from actual face-to-face conflict is numbers.
Well,
because
I'm wondering what the view from the police is right now, because you know, they're in a difficult situation in many to many degrees, because you know what do they do right now? Do they sit back and let the process carry on and try and just keep things calm? Do they pick a side and go, right, this is right, this is wrong, we're going to clamp down on what's wrong and do their job, which we believe they should be doing properly?
The police haven't got the minerals to do it.
I don't think they have, mate. I think you're right. I don't think they
They
have.
when they can pick off one or two, if you watch the marches and everything they do, they pick one or two people, they gang them, don't they? Yeah, they jump on, 5 coppers jump on one bloke and they say, right, we've done our job. We've got one of them. They prosecute him and that's all done.
Yeah.
And that's why if you watch how the immigrants actually attack people, they don't attack them one-on-one.
No.
There's a group of them, 5, and they jump on them. And when I grew up in Walthamstow in East London in the 70s, I left London in 1979. What was it? Well, I went through all the race riots from the age of right from the age of 14. National Front and everything was really massive down there. I actually worked, believe it or not, with the head of the BNP and everything. I worked at a garage, and all the heads of all the National Front and everything actually worked in the garage. So I've seen from the very inside what the right can be.
Yeah.
But believe it or not, it's like myself. I was stabbed 3 times when I grew up in London, and that was just trying to get from Walthamstow Central Station, the tube station, to my house. It's about 2 miles away near Lloyd's Park. And for that time, in the 1970s, I used to have to run the gauntlet because there used to be a road that separated the Walthamstow, Forest Road. One half of it was where all the immigrants lived. The other half was where all the ethnics lived, their fells. And it was about a mile to get from the station to that road, and then about a quarter of a mile to my house from there. I got stabbed 3 times from there. My mum was mugged 3 times. My brother was threatened. He got caught up in Club Row markets because my granddad used to work all the London markets.
Yeah.
And growing up through all that, we are no further on. But what's happened, it all went quiet. Everything went quiet after the 70s. But I've seen it all. And people don't realise, a lot of the youngsters now, they don't see we've already had a lot of this.
Yeah, I think this is different. I've got to say though, Kevin, I think this is different. I think this is far more serious and far deeper than anything we've ever experienced before, unfortunately.
Before it was the colour of your skin was your uniform. Yeah, and that was simple as that. You was either black or you was white or you was Asian with the blacks, whatever. But then what happened was the Asians and the blacks didn't get on, and they they had their own problems. But then we went through the period of boom, didn't we? Where everything was good for us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone
got together, didn't they? They was, I think we've had good community relations now for a number of years, but this is something else. Kevin, I'm going to have to move on, mate, because I've got a load of people lined up. Thank you so much for doing this again, brother. I really appreciate it. Let me see if I can get Linford back. Linford, is that any better? Let's have a try.
Hello, Paul. Can you hear me?
Yep, got you again, mate. Yep, I can hear you.
Hello, mate. I don't know what happened earlier. Yeah, it's good to see you, mate. And
you had a big effect. You had a big effect on the viewers. You had a big effect on the viewers when you came on the other night. Yeah, you did, mate. You had a lot of comments.
I was just being truthful and honest, mate, with myself, Paul. What I have to do. And
which is good.
This young girl in Dublin, mate, it tapped into my trauma, because the impact that what happened to me at that age, I know the impact that it's had on my life. So I pray and hope that this young girl gets all the help and support that she needs, like I said the other night, Paul, there's sick people out there, and this can't carry on, mate. We're too lenient. We're too giving, us British, and we can't brush things under the carpet. Everyone's getting to a point now where they've had enough, Paul, and
that is the topic of today's show. I mean, when is enough is enough? I think we've got to that point, haven't we?
Well, I messaged on earlier when you messaged, and I said I was contemplating literally getting a flight out to Dublin this morning, but my motives for going out there, Paul, are not right. I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, you can't do that. Yeah, you can't do that, mate. You don't want to be doing that.
You know, because it's what this has brought up within me, Paul.
Yeah.
You know, and when we've got a government that ain't for us, you know, and it's
They just don't. They're just not listening, are they? They're closing their eyes, putting their fingers in
Thinking it's
their
gonna
ears
go
and
away.
humming, thinking it's going away. This
But it
is
ain't.
it's not going away, and this weekend is going to be very, very telling.
Well, look
I'm
at what
very,
they think they've done even at Whitechapel. They've cancelled
Yeah.
that protest at Whitechapel,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Where Nick Tenconi was going to Whitechapel
Yeah.
Station. They've cancelled
Yeah.
it. Now it's going on in London.
Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
because the reality and the truth it is, Paul, they want to keep the Muslims and all that happy
Yeah.
by not having
Well, they're
them there.
frightened.
This is the reality and truth of it.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
mainstream media won't tell you that, Paul.
Yeah.
You know, it's wrong, mate. It's so wrong. You know,
It
we're
is.
stuck between a rock and an hard place.
We are. Where everyone's trying to, I mean, you know, everyone is trying their absolute goddamn utmost to keep things on the level playing field, to keep, you know, stay within the law, protest peacefully. But we know at some stage there are going to be some people that are a bit rogue, a bit hot-headed. Their tempers are going to break. The police need to get a handle on this, and they need
We're
to
getting
get
to
a
the
handle
boil
on it
now, Paul.
right away. We're getting to the boil. We're getting to the boil.
And it's
the
going to go
police,
pop.
if they don't,
They won't be able
pick
to maintain
the
it,
right
Paul.
side,
They
they're
don't
not-
have the numbers to do anything about it.
It's really,
You
really
know, they
worrying.
really don't.
It's
And I
really
pray
worrying.
to God that it doesn't happen, Paul. But I
So
can
do
see
I.
what's coming.
So do I. Yeah, yeah.
I
I
can
mean,
see
we've been
it.
saying it for a long time, and you know what? This is the danger. Steve, you're up next. This is the danger, right? That God forbid it does happen. You know who they'll blame?
Yeah.
They'll blame people for talking about it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
They'll blame
It's
people
passing the
for
buck, isn't it? They don't want to own it and accept
Exactly.
responsibility themselves, Paul.
Exactly.
You know, they're the cause of it.
Yeah, Linford, I'm going to let you go, mate, because I've got other people
Yep,
waiting to come
lovely,
on. Thank
Paul.
you so
Thank
much
you.
for joining us again. Leanne, try and get back on if you can. I think you've got one or two connection problems there. Steve, you are next. Good afternoon, mate.
Hello, Paul. How are you?
I'm very well, brother. Thank you. How are you?
Jolly good. Yeah, I'm great.
Good, good. What's on your mind
Just
today?
a little bit of food. Well, just a little bit of food for thought. Did you know that there were two movements in the early 20th century that advocated for women's rights?
Yes, of course. Yeah, yeah,
Did you know that?
yeah.
Can you name one of them?
The suffragettes.
Go on then.
The suffragettes.
What was the other one?
Don't know the other one.
Yeah, what was the other one?
Don't know the other one. Go on, who was it?
Suffragettes.
The suffragettes. What's that?
Now, one of them, the suffragettes, yes, that was an organisation that did not believe in violence or confrontation.
Yeah.
So, which one do we remember? We remember the suffragettes because they did believe in confrontation and violence.
Wow, is that true? Is that a fact? I didn't know
So
that.
what does that? Violence seems to work.
Well, yeah,
Peaceful
I mean,
protest doesn't seem to accomplish much.
well, it doesn't seem to have accomplished very much at the moment, apart from a lot of people being unfairly arrested, in my view, people being targeted by the state, by the authorities, by the anti-terror police. You know, when the whole bloody nation knows, right, that the people that are causing this sectarianism, this is something that we've never had in the UK before. I mean, we experienced it with the IRA back in the 70s and 80s, but that wasn't on the mainland mostly. I mean, of course, it spilled over here, but mostly it was in Ireland, in Northern Ireland. But we have never seen this level of sectarianism ever, certainly in England. I mean, I know the Scots have got their issues, right, you know, Selwick and Rangers and all that sort of lot, but I mean, this is making that look like a game of tiddlywinks. And
Absolutely. Sectarianism.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I noticed the flag in
is on
the.
the increase.
It's terrible. I noticed you got the Israel flag in the back there. Are you a Jewish guy yourself?
No, I'm not, but I support the Jews, and that one is going down to London with me on Saturday, the 25th.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you. I was going to ask you if you'd experienced any sort of anti-Semitism, but you know,
no. I saw a Jew the other day in the chemist, and he had a skull cap on. That's how I knew he was a Jew. You see, and I thought, well, should I go over and say hello to him and shake hands with him? But I thought, no, maybe not. So I didn't in the end. I don't know whether I should have or not.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think it's good to show these guys support, but at the moment, I would imagine they're very touchy about people approaching them, you know.
Yeah. What do you think the impact of that march was on the 13th of September? Do you think the government has actually sat up and taken any notice, or has it been a waste of time?
No, I think they're shitting themselves.
I think so.
I think the mainstream media are shitting themselves. I think the government are shitting themselves because what they can see it unfolding right in front of their very eyes is a peaceful revolution. But if they're not careful, if they don't start to get this right, I'm afraid it's going to turn. And I keep saying this on every podcast, just in case anyone's watching, and you know they're watching, right?
Yeah.
None of us want violence. None of us want problems. But the bottom line is people like myself, Dan Wooden, Tommy, you know, Jeff Taylor, Paz, etc., all the Patriot channels, we cannot tell people what to do. We can advise them and hope they take that advice to stay calm, keep it peaceful, remain respectful. But I don't know how much longer they're going to carry on listening. That's the problem. And it's getting to the point now where I genuinely think we have lost the people. People ain't listening to us anymore. They're getting sick of us. They're getting sick of us saying, you know, do this, don't do that. And they're just going, well, you know what? That's getting us nowhere.
Well, yeah, I don't know. According to Tommy Robinson, we need to have Starmer in office for another 3 years. And he says that so that the people can then see just how bad it can be.
Well, do you know something? I don't disagree with him, and I'll tell you why. And it's funny you say that. I heard that he said that just yesterday, and I thought, I'm glad he said that because I said the same thing weeks ago, and for exactly the same reasons. This has got to get worse before it gets any better. The people of this country do need to go past that tipping point. And I don't mean, you know, violence or revolutionary actions, but politically they've got to go past that point that breaks the straw that breaks the camel's back, and they go, right, I am going to get out and I am going to vote and I am going to make a difference.
Well, there's about 7 to 8 million people in Britain that aren't registered to vote.
I know. Get your bloody asses out there and get registered to vote.
Absolutely. They're what I call the sit on their bum and do nothing Brits. And there's too many of them.
Exactly. Barry, you'll be up in just a second.
That's why we need all those people who aren't registered to vote. Yeah, and we need to get more people out on protests. So
absolutely.
If you're doing nothing this Saturday, come down to Whitechapel with me and Nick Zanconi.
Yep. Good luck to you lads on Saturday. Make sure you stay out of trouble and more than anything, make sure you stay safe. All the best, Steve. Thank you, mate. All the best. Cheers, brother. Bye-bye. We got Barry up next. Barry, good afternoon. What you got on your mind, mate?
How you going, Paul? I'm from Australia.
Are you in Australia now?
Yeah. I was born here, but all my ancestors come from where you're from, you know.
Okay.
But,
so you're a proper Tom then.
Yeah, prisoner of Mother England.
Yeah. How you doing? What's the time out there, mate?
Yeah, we supported Tommy about 6 years ago when he was in jail. We went down to the British High Commission and had some placards down there and supported him out in front of, because I live in Canberra, so we went down there. But I've been interested in what's happening over there, and you know, somehow I'd like to support you fellas, you know.
Thank you very much.
I don't know if I could join Advance or something like that. Maybe they wouldn't let me in.
I'm not actually sure, to be honest, if you can join from overseas. I don't. Why not? I don't know why you wouldn't be able to. I'm sure that you can. Just pop over to the website.
Yeah.
What's it like over in Australia at the moment?
Yeah. Well, I'm an Australian.
Yeah, what's it like over there at the moment? You're having a similar problems, right?
Well, we had these Lebanese rapes about 20 years ago, and they put them in jail for about 27 years. So that seemed to fix the problem. You know, you've got to have harsh sentences, you know, to under control. You know.
Yeah. There's got to be deterrence. I mean, look at this guy in Ireland that's allegedly attacked this 10-year-old child, a child that was already vulnerable, and now she's been abused allegedly by a man in his late 20s. This guy apparently should have been deported a long time ago, and he's still in the country. So not only are the punishments not there, but the deterrence and the removals of these people is not even taking place. So,
well, we don't have illegal immigrants. We got legal immigrants, but we don't have illegal immigrants because they got stopped by Tony Abbott, and he was the Prime Minister a few years ago, 10 years ago or so, and they gave them rafts to go back to Indonesia. So, and that was effective. It only happened. They only gave them one raft, I think, and it appeared on newspapers everywhere, and they never tried it again. You know. But if they get any illegal immigrants, they go to Nauru, and that's a little island, and with pretty limited facilities, you know. So they're really stuck there for a while. But I'd like to see. You could probably help me with this, but you know, you blokes like to support Advance rather than Reform. Isn't that going to split the vote? And you know, or will they liaise with each other so that they don't split the vote? So you can have this electorate, and we'll have this one.
Yeah, look, the bottom line is Reform were the party that we hoped. Reform have turned out not to be the party that we hoped they would be. So as far as splitting the vote is concerned, look, if people want to vote Reform, that is their choice. But all they're going to get, and if they haven't been duped enough in the past by the Tories, by the Labour Party, by the Lib Dems when they were in cohorts with David Cameron, if they haven't been duped enough yet by politicians with a suit and a smile, then more for them. Nigel Farage will not deliver what this country needs. So I don't consider that, first of all, there's no vote to split yet for another 3 years. Secondly, if you want the Tory party Mark II, a party that's full of failed Tories who didn't do their job properly in the first place, then vote Reform. They're the ones, for me, mate, Barry, for me, it's the Reform voters that are splitting the genuine Save the UK vote. The people that really want to save the UK are joining Advance. And the ones that are the ones that are happy to sell for a very poor second best, they're going to vote Reform. But we'll see. There's a lot to play out before we get to that stage. Well, what's the time out there, Barry?
It's 10:30 at night.
Okay.
10:30 Wednesday night. So
okay. Yep. So a pretty good time for you to hop on, mate. I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much, Barry. I really appreciate you coming on, mate.
I'll have to come over there when the election comes up, and help you go around and knock on doors and put flags up. I've been really impressed.
You'd be more than welcome, mate. You'd be more than welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you very much
I want to go there, but we don't want the trouble when we go there.
No, have you been before? You been up recently?
Yeah, I've been over there before. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, lovely, mate, lovely. All the best to you, mate. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. That's Barry there from Australia. Right now, let's have a little look. Just a very brief look at what actually took place in Ireland last night. The show line is free as I speak. If you want to join, the link is in the chat and in the video description. Let's have a little look at what took place in Ireland last night. It's a very brief one. That's what took place in Dublin last night. As you can see, the local population not very happy at all. Reports of, of not the best of behaviour from the Gardaí out there. Obviously, I wasn't there. I can't comment on that. But having seen some of the videos coming out of Dublin last night, not particularly great, I have to say. As I said, the show line is free if anyone wants to hop on now. Tony, thank you very much. Please give this to Richard. I will do. Beyond the vanishing, thank you. YouTube are censoring my message. Irish people feel abandoned, totally fed up, looking over my shoulder in Dublin. Gardaí, Irish police are now similar to the police service of Northern Ireland. Yeah, very unfortunate to hear. Very unfortunate to hear. Let's have a look at what was taking place down in Southampton and why I am very concerned about events down there and potentially events in the future.
Watch as migrants and locals clash outside a migrant hotel in Southampton. Police arrived to bring order to the scene around 5 p.m. on Saturday after reports of around 100 protesters amassing outside the hotel. Hampshire police say they are investigating an incident that occurred at around 6:15 p.m. on Saturday. A spokesman said, "We are aware of an incident outside Highfield House Hotel and inquiries are ongoing to establish if any crimes have occurred." Tensions have been notching higher at the site for months. Just weeks ago, migrants were filmed fighting outside the hotel at night as neighbours reportedly cowered in their homes. The Southampton Times reports residents were awoken to the commotion around 2 a.m. on the 7th of October. Protesters brandishing the British flag have staged a series of protests through the southern city. This weekend they were confronted by pro-Palestine protesters.
From Hamas! Uh-oh.
Migrant hotel protests continue across Britain after sparking at the Bell Hotel in Epping over the summer. Epping Council, like others, heeded residents' fury and sought to have the migrants moved out of the local hotels. Others, like Tower Hamlets in London, have debated instead whether to designate protesters far right and write off their concerns.
Very, very concerning indeed. Now, the police have banned UKIP from marching in Whitechapel at the weekend, and I would strongly suggest that the police in Hampshire ban the pro-Palestinian marchers from deliberately going down to Southampton and winding up the locals. There's no pro-Palestine marches down in Southampton. Why go down there and deliberately try and cause the problem? Poor Leanne is still trying to get into the show. I don't know what's going on there for you, Leanne. I think you had a really interesting story. Would love to hear it. Here's a video that I wanted to play you actually earlier on in the week. This is from BB Audits. Credit to BB Audits. A lot of you will have seen this, but this is what's going on in hospitals up and down the country.
Oh, and there's like 40 of you booked in today, isn't there? How you doing, my friend? You alright? Yeah, you from the Wethersfield Hair Base too? Yeah.
One person missing? Yeah. Only but one person.
Yeah. What? One more?
No. Yeah.
But there's 40 of you coming today, isn't there? Been told. No.
Yeah, no understand. Only one person is. Okay. Wait, one more.
Well, there's 5 of yous.
Yeah, 5.
Oh, 5 of you.
I'm going to pause that because I think we've got Leanne back. Leanne, how you doing?
Hi, Paul. Is it better now?
Leanne, that is so much better. I can see and hear you perfectly. So let's
Brilliant.
start right. Let's go back right to the beginning. Thanks for coming on.
So I was on a full care order from quite a young age, 4 until I was 18. A lot of not very nice stuff happened within my own, like while I was living with my mum. It wasn't my own family. It was a lodger that sexually abused me when I was really young. So my mum was going through a lot mentally. She just split up from my dad. They had a nasty divorce. She wasn't mentally right. Social services got involved. They put me on a care order, but they allowed me to still stay within the care of my family. My brother was born, and a couple of years after my brother was born, he was adopted because social services made a massive mistake in accusing my mum and dad of hurting him when they didn't. I've read through my care files from way back then, and even the director of social services at that time agreed that it was a mistake, and anyway, my brother ended up dying age 20 from a heroin overdose because he'd been adopted and then let down by them. So he felt let down by his own parents. Then he felt let down by them. He found out the truth about what they'd all, told him, that he'd been, all these horrific things had happened to him when they hadn't. So obviously that broke him, and it was hard for him to deal with. And us being separated as little children as well, only babies really, was really hard for me because I was really protective over him and I loved him to death. So him being torn away from me was awful, and then having to grow up separated and then losing him. But I think what my point of what I'm trying to say is that this goes way beyond, way deeper than just grooming gangs. I know that this is horrific and it's awful, but what I'm saying is that as an adult now that was in care for a long time, that knows social services and the police inside out when it comes to being a child in care in the 80s and 90s. I mean, it's still happening now, so it's not like it's ended. The way that they treat and talk to kids in care is absolutely horrific. Like, I'm not saying every single copper and every single social worker and every single person involved in trying to protect children are wrong uns, but there is a lot of rot there. There really is a lot of rot. And the attitude was just, you're a kid in care, we don't give a shit, basically. You can just rot, you can just get on with it.
How would you, if you was in charge, Leanne, how would you change that?
Well, I mean, I went in care homes, I was in foster care for a short time. Obviously my brother was adopted, and the way I would change it is that people who get involved in social care or police work have to realise the enormity of the responsibility that they hold. I don't think that many of them do actually understand that. And I don't really get how you could police employing the correct people, if you know what I mean, because a lot of wrong uns obviously are manipulative, very manipulative, and they know how to get into positions of power with a severe manipulative personality. So it's, how do you police that? It's hard.
One thing I will say,
to have it right is to have the right people involved. You've got
course,
Maggie Oliver. That was one copper that stood up and said, "No, fuck this. I'm not having that. I'll leave my job if it means putting myself above the parapet." So more Maggie Olivers, please.
Yeah, absolutely. She's an absolute hero. I mean, the only thing that I will say in defence of the police is that they would say that they're not social workers.
But you have to have social work skills to work with people in that way, because they're on the front line of social work. When you think about it, they're dealing with it day in, day out, social issues. So you've got to have more than just, I mean, the training that they get these days is ridiculous anyway. It's just, DI and whatever, diversity, inclusive and bollocks and woke. And it's not the police force that it was, is it? We used to have a police force to be proud of. I mean, back in the day, even when I say there was rot, there were a lot of good coppers, and I'd say there was probably more better coppers back then than there is now.
Yeah. No, definitely. I totally agree. I mean, I was very lucky. I had a polar opposite upbringing. I was brought up in a loving, stable, beautiful family. And I just can't get my head around that children can be treated that way and left to rot in many respects. I mean, I've moved from Brighton, so I see plenty of young people around that area with mental health issues, with drug addiction, all the problems that can lead to this sort of thing, or they've come from that. They've come from the care system, because I think they kick them out when they're 16?
Yeah, I mean, there's better stuff going on these days when it comes to kids leaving care. They've got money now where they save money up for kids so that they've got more of a start, obviously, when they do leave and they do set up independent living. I don't think there's enough support for kids leading up to that leaving to prepare them for independent living. Like back when I was 11, I went into a children's home in Woking in Surrey called the Oak Centre. It's not there anymore now. It used to be kind of more like a boarding, a tough kind of secure boarding facility, in the probably 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever. And then and it started to become more caring, I suppose, and they took the bars off the windows and tried to hug the kids instead of beat the kids, I suppose. So I went there around that kind of transitionary period where they were trying to be more caring, and but they weren't, because they were still just letting kids do what they want, and they were letting kids do things that they shouldn't be doing at certain ages. I've just recently dropped 2 investigations with Surrey Police and Reading Police. Reading is where I'm from, right? And there were 2 different things that happened. I mean, there's loads of things. If I brought them all up, I'd have about 12 to 15 cases going on. But I thought I'd tackle this one, 1 or 2 at a time.
Yeah.
I recently dropped them because I've got no faith at all that anything will change. I emailed the copper involved, and she said to me, look, I've been doing this for 17 years. There are a lot of good people involved. I said, you know what, Holly, I do not doubt that one bit. I said, you and many, many, many other coppers are probably in it for the right reasons, and God bless you for it. But it's not you that I care about. It's your bosses and their bosses. And they're the ones that I know are trying to hinder this. So, and the judiciary is now weaponized against us and the people. So I do not have any faith in the system. So I'm not going to bother. And I had no reply to that, because I think deep down she knew she had nothing to say back to that.
No, Leanne, I mean, that is a brilliant point. You're absolutely right. Just what you said at the beginning, I mean, I also want to recognise what you said again. I mean, look, for me, caller of the day, Leanne, brilliant points. What you said about it's not just the grooming gangs. Yeah, we get that. I seriously get that. And I don't want anyone to think
I hear a lot of people saying like thousands of kids, and I think, well, that there's more than that, even just in the grooming gangs. But there are millions and millions of children going back decades and decades and decades that have been systematically failed by the system. You cannot remove children from a shit situation and then say that you're going to do better when you don't.
Yeah. Look at the Jimmy Savile scenario where kids were basically handed to him on a plate.
Exactly. And I mean, I've mentioned this before, and I was on, I don't know if you know, well, you do know Montgomery Tom's. On the 13th of September, I bumped into him in the crowd, and he interviewed me, and my video that he did of me went viral about digital ID. That day was brilliant, by the way. I'm so sad that you couldn't be there, Paul. I'd love to have met you. I did meet Richard though, and I met young Bob,
Good.
and I met a few others. I'd love to have met Tommy, but I got all my pictures, and I was happy that I
Brilliant.
spent the day
Yeah.
there. We got pissed on twice, but you know that's England. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's just a mess. The way things are at the moment is an utter mess, and it's embarrassing, and it's a massive, massive stain and a shame, and sorry, a shame on the country. And it's what other people are talking about all around the world. We are the focus of attention because the orchestrated evil, as far as I'm concerned, Paul.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
orchestrated evil. It's been done. It's by design. It's not. They're not sitting back and going, "Oh well." If they wanted to change things, they could right now, right this minute, but they don't.
Yeah.
They're choosing not to on purpose.
I believe everything you said there. I agree with. I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, the way the nation has deserted our babies is just beyond me. Just beyond
Yeah.
me.
To be a young kid and I'm going through a lot with where you know, I mean, I didn't have it awfully bad, Paul. There are kids out there that have had it way worse than me. I still had love shown to me by members of my family, and my mum had problems, but she still loved me. She still does love me. My mum's still here. We're still very close, but you know, while she was having issues, they should have stepped in to be able to do what they needed to do, but they didn't. They don't do. This is the thing what annoys me about them. They sit up on their moral high horse, but they don't provide the right care, and they just let kids rot. And it's wrong, especially when they're kids that maybe even with not like me, where they haven't got family members that are looking out for them and caring about what's going on for them. You know, I did have that, luckily.
Yeah.
But what about the kids that haven't got that, and they literally rely on social services to be their complete carers? What about them? And that's what worries me. And I knew a few kids like that, and that they worry me because they're the ones that can just get lost in the system and end up disappearing and stuff.
What would your
Lodge
guess
House. I don't know if
be?
you've ever heard of that one.
No, sorry, Leanne, I didn't hear that last bit. Say that again.
Elm Lodge Guest House. That's one to look into.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah. I mean, just a guess. What sort of percentage of kids that come out of care would you say end up in a life of addiction and problems?
So I had my issues for a long while, probably only the past 10 years that I've gradually straightened myself out. But I had a lot of issues with a lot of things due to, messed up head. I suppose in a way I do blame them for a lot of things, but these days I'm up for more taking responsibility for my own actions and not blaming anyone or anything for nothing, because it's up to me to do the right thing.
Yeah.
But in the past, I think I had a bit of a victimhood mentality where everything was their fault, everything, and I mean, I still do blame them for things, but I don't hold them to account for my behaviour anymore. I hold myself to account. And I think that's important message to pass on to anyone out there who is struggling with mental health due to failures from them. Don't let what they did to you ruin the rest of your life. That's my message.
That's great.
Don't let
advice.
them destroy any more than what they already have.
Yeah.
Take responsibility for your own actions. Grow a pair, grow up, and have a good life, because life is way much better with clean living than in drugs and addiction.
Well, brilliant, cool. I mean, like, do you offer advice to people that have been in this position?
I don't, but I'd love to be able to, because it would make me feel like I'm giving back a bit, because I have been through so much. Like, it's not, it's a long story.
Yeah.
Those few bits that I mentioned, about my brother and obviously the care situation, social services, the failures, that's all just quite a small part of my story.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'd say that there's better help for kids leaving care now than there was. So hopefully that in itself helps to, stem that. But I don't think anything can, because a destroyed young person is very vulnerable to drugs and addiction, because it is because it is an escape.
Yeah.
When you're going through that kind of pain and hurt, you don't want to be in your own head. So as the saying goes, getting out of your head is the way it is, because you don't want to be in your own head, because in your own head is torture.
Yeah, and other people
Well, I
are
do
there
understand
ready.
them. I've got sympathy for people. I'm not
Yeah.
saying, oh God, you know, I'm an hard bird. I've just grown a pair and sorted my life out. Just, you know, it's hard, but you've got to do that first step by saying it's my responsibility for my actions. If you don't take that first step, then you can't, you know, you won't go nowhere. And you've got to want to change as well.
And probably get away from the people that are using you as well,
Yeah,
because
you've got to get
when
away.
you're vulnerable, yeah.
Yeah, you've got to get away from that crowd and the area. I mean, that is important too, because starting up afresh, knowing that the type of people that you want to be friends with and not the type of people you were friends with before, just because mainly in that type of life, people are only friends with each other so they can get something out of you. You know, it's not a genuine friendship. So you've got to know that you want to make friends with the right people, and where do those people, you know, where do they hang out? For me these days, it's the church.
Yeah, it's a good,
Church people
very,
are the
very
best
good
people.
shout. Yeah, absolutely. Look, I'll go back to what I've said 1,000 times on this channel. The mark of how great a nation truly is how it treats its young, its sick, and its elderly. And we're failing on all of those points.
100%.
Every single one of them. Leanne, caller of the day for me. Well done. Thank you so much for persevering. I know you was having trouble getting on, but
got there in the end, Paul. I got there in the end.
Got there in the end. Please make sure that you come back on again, because that was really, really good. Thank you so much, Leanne. You have a lovely day.
Much love, Paul.
And you, all the best. God bless you. Thank you. Wow. What a great call. What a great call. M, thank you very much. I work in social care in a group home in America, but I enjoyed this discussion. Very true across the pond too. Some of my girls have cartel parents. Yeah, I bet I can imagine. Guys, just under 1,400 people watching. If you haven't already done so, I'm sorry I keep asking, but please give me an upvote. And if you haven't already subscribed, please make sure you do so. Let me know what you think of this new format. I am absolutely loving interacting with you guys. Frankly, I think this is the best format that I've sort of stumbled across. I've tried, numerous things over the last couple of years just to sort of settle into a pattern and a routine. But this I am going to stick with, because I love interacting with my audience. It gives you a chance to have your say. It gets it off your chest, gets your view across. And at the moment, I'm the only Patriots channel, I believe, that's doing this. Having said that, I'm sure more will come along, and I hope they do, because this is what we need. We need to be together as a family. Right, so we've been online for just over an hour. We're going to call it a day. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a wonderful chat and a great afternoon. Let's see how the weekend plays out. It's going to be a lively one, I fear. Let's all pray for that 10-year-old child, because ultimately she's the one that matters. What a terrible situation for her to be in. Right, I'll see you soon, everyone. All the best.